I remember my childhood, there's one single routine that makes a lot more sense today than it did back then. Every morning before our regular classes began, we had what was called the zero period, where the class teacher took attendance and all of us were asked to sit with a thin notebook and pen and write 2 pages about our previous day. What happened, what we remember, and how the day unfolded. At that age, none of us understood why we were doing this. We wrote whatever came to the mind. Simple things, ordinary things. Not even emotions, just moments. And it was only few months back, 10 years later from then onwards, that I came to know the importance of it through something as simple as this paper and this pen and the courage to look honestly into my own mind in a 4-day residential program at Isha when I was asked to do the same, but this time instead of looking back for 2 days, it was the whole 26 years. And it was such a powerful experience that today I am very glad to say that the single most transformative practice that I have learned didn't come from a book or a podcast or a productive video. Instead, it came from this 4-day spiritual experience. And what's interesting is, this instinct is not new. Before we dive into this, a quick request. If this already feels meaningful, just hit the like button. It genuinely helps the algorithm recognize the video as valuable and show it to people who might need it. And subscribing simply makes sure that you don't miss the next part of the series. November 2024, Light took me to the 4-day residential program. And before attending it, all participants were given a homework assignment. We were asked to write down everything we could remember from the day our memory begins until that very moment. Every experience, good, bad, small, big. Every feeling we had ignored and every incident we had buried. Can you imagine 26 years of living on just a piece of few papers? I honestly didn't know that how powerful that was going to be. When I sat down to write, things I didn't even know that I remembered started coming out. And it wasn't easy. Some parts made me pause, some parts made me breathe heavily, and some parts even made me cry. But as the pages filled, I realized how much I had been carrying without even giving it a place to go. And in that very program, I understood something very shocking. This one homework wasn't a warm-up. It was the very fundamental part of the process that without doing it, you cannot experience the very depth of the program. Because how can you step into something profound when your inner world is full of things you have never looked? And that homework changed me. It cracked something open in me to an extent that I kept on writing even after the program got ended. Not because someone told me or asked me to do, but because it became the one place where my inner world could breathe. But the surprising thing is, today westernization has so much covered in our mind that the modern mind will simply claim it as journaling, as I did. Because our mind wants to create identity everywhere, so it likes giving names to everything we see, act, do or have. So after the program, I tried to go deeper to really understand what it is, to which I discovered something even more surprising. This instinct that we all had as children to put our inner world into a page. Maybe it was the last page of the notebook, or maybe a few lines during zero period, or maybe a small note you never showed anyone. This practice, this writing, this emptying is not any Western idea, and it is not something that the modern psychology invented. It is one of the most oldest spiritual practice in Sanatana Dharma. What we casually call as journaling today is actually one of the oldest signs of inner clarity in Sanatana Dharma. Our ancestors took the mind very seriously. They knew that if you don't give your inner world a place to settle, it begins to overflow into your life in ways that you don't ever expect. So they created practices, not techniques, not trends, but deep human processes that help people look at themselves honestly. And these commonly included Swadhyay, Chitta Lekhanam, and Atma Vichara Lekhanam. Most people think Swadhyay means reading scriptures. Well, that's only a part of it. The deeper meaning is studying yourself, understanding your reactions, your desires, your pattern, your fears. And the simplest way to study yourself is to take what's inside and to put it into where you can actually see it. Then there was Chitta Lekhanam. Chitta is the deepest layer of Antakarna. It is the reservoir of samskara, the subtle impressions that shapes your tendencies, patterns, your desires, your fears and emotional reflexes. Whereas Lekhanam means to write. This was the practice of emptying your inner space on a page so that you can finally see the weight you have been carrying. And people used to do this very openly. rishis, students, seekers, and even kings. Because if you don't see what's inside you, you end up living your whole life on autopilot, driven by things you didn't even know were shaping you. And then there comes one of my favorite ones, Atma Vichara Lekhanam, writing as self-inquiry. Not writing what happened, but writing what it did to you. Writing to understand who is hurt, who is reacting, who is afraid, who is longing. Because the moment you write it, something inside you stops pretending. You become honest with yourself in a way that's almost impossible to do in your head. And the best part is, ancient Bharat did practice it very deeply. Children in Vedic Gurukuls were made to write the mistakes they made that day, write how they behaved with others, write which tendencies or vasanas disturbed them, write questions that arose during learning, and write reflections on the emotions. This was not just education journaling. This was Swadhyay plus Chitta Lekhanam in its purest form. Not only this, the earliest commentaries on Yoga Sutras, known as Vyas Bhashya, specifically mentions writing down mental fluctuations, noting down disturbing thoughts, and recording the triggers or the kleshas. And this was Chitta Lekhanam. It says, let the practitioner record the rise of vrittis so they may be weakened. And not only this, in Kashmiri Shaivism, Perla, Trika, and Sri Vidya traditions, Tantra is extremely introspective. Practitioners kept sadhana pustika, that is small personal notebooks in which they wrote their emotional pattern during practice, inner experiences, difficulties, insights, self-observation, recurring failures, breakthroughs. And this was called as Chitta Shodhana Pustika in some lineages. And this is again Chitta Lekhanam in its purest form. And the most interesting part, the Bhakti saints like Mirabai, Laleshwari, Akka Mahadevi put their inner turmoil, grief, longing, frustration, surrender directly to Krishna or Shiva. They had their emotional processing through writing. These poems were actually raw emotional writings that later became literature. They were not poetry at the first. Their writings were self-reflection first, poetry only later. And that is why in Bhakti villages, people wrote to Krishna, to Devi, to Shiva, or to their gurus, fears, pleas, gratitude. These were not religious. They are emotional unloading. That is the purest form of giving your problem to something higher. And this is exactly what we did at Isha. Not only this, even Buddhist and Jain monks had Swadhyay plus Chitta Lekhanam as one of the most important mandatory practice in their monasteries, where they wrote confessions, observations of their thought, record when their anger, lust, pride arose, document moments when mindfulness broke. Even Advaita follows Atma Vichara Lekhanam. There are hundreds and thousands of examples that shows that these weren't religious practices. These were human practices. They were part of daily life. A child in Gurukul, a monk in monastery, a yogi in the mountain, a mother in a small village, everyone had some form of self-writing. Where some wrote confessions, some wrote questions, some wrote experiences, some wrote fears, whereas some wrote gratitude. But above all of them were doing the same thing, cleansing the inner space so life would flow again. So now, if you have stayed till here, let me tell you that ancient Bharat didn't just invent journaling. It perfected it, refined it, and spiritualized it, and used it as emotional healing, mind purification, ego purification, self-inquiry, clarity, surrender, and inner liberation. This is thousands of years old, not a new Western trend. And that is why when I learned this, something clicked. Because suddenly my own experiences made sense. Why writing felt so relieving, why certain emotions finally moved, why clarity came after pages and pages of honesty. It wasn't just a coincidence. It was a continuation of very ancient inner tradition. It was always there in our culture. We just forgot it. And that is why today I can say it with complete honesty. If there's one practice that has helped me, transformed me, steadied me, and rebuilt me more than anything else, it is this simple act of putting what's inside into a page. Not as therapy, not as technique, but a way of being real with myself. And that is why if you truly want to grow, and if you want clarity, balance, depth, and sanity, this is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. So, if you belong to Isha, tell me the name of the program which I am talking about. And also, if you're someone who practices journaling daily, or if you're someone who want to start this Lekhanam, understand it more deeply, how to write. Do we need to write all the Lekhanams like Atma Vichara Lekhanam or Swadhyay? When to do it? If you want to know in detail, I can make another video. You need to take this video to at least 10k people and comment me down in the comment section. So please do share this video with as many people as you can. And with this, hope this video was meaningful to you. And if yes, please do like and subscribe. And up to next, stay safe, healthy, happy, and namaskaram.